Hello. Well, what a weekend. I did play football, but it was unannounced. Saturday, after lunch, I went for a walk with my father in the park, and suddenly we had a phone call of my brother that he was on the way with his three children to our house. So I saw my father starting to run to the house to be there when they come. Well, he really started running, and well, me too. And then, well, children, three of them, well, not too happy, difficult about which candy the youngest would eat, and the oldest one finding it a bit cold and laying on a bench and needing blankets. But I had medicine. Um, so there was a medical kit, toys, of course, to measure the temperature and hear the heartbeat and all these things. And in the same purse, I had put four packages of their favorite chips, snacks, and of course, yeah, they eat it. And but then, yeah, we played a lot of football, and well, and there was also a tent in the garden, um, and they could go around with their bikes. So yeah, it was nice. And well, then I brought them home, the two oldest ones. My brother got home earlier with the youngest one. It was already by 7, and I think my dinner was with Uber Eats at 7:30 something. So it was an exhausting afternoon playing with three children. And to my surprise, Sunday morning, they arrived again. And we played more football. And for lunch, I had to bring them home, but they already had some kind of lunch, in our home. So that is what was happening. And well, Friday there was a tour in this house with the architects, and at the end of the tour, my brother told him he was informed about his name by a friend, a lawyer, and well, the reaction of the architect was quite funny. He said, "Yeah, some architects they do court cases, and they only do that." He said, "But yeah, he did court cases in his career, but he did real architecture with heart and soul too." He continued to do that. So heart and soul. Well, was quite interesting. Heart and soul. To do something with your heart and soul. Well, and people say this without knowing. But and maybe in Belgium it's less actual as in maybe some other parts of the world. But I can easily trace it back to the the view of a world, the view of a world 2,000 years ago, um, ancient Greece or Rome, especially Plotinos, 270 after Christ, and just before Christianity became the state religion, not in Rome, but in Istanbul with the Hagia Sophia, 600 after Christ, and then the rise of Islam, also 600 after Christ. So that magical world up there, well, they didn't know about the Big Bang and the vastness of the universe. No, it was a small universe, and people were central in it, as was God. And I find it so wonderful. I have been thinking about language, yes. Well, a few weeks ago, I've discovered more about language. Um, a man, a contemporary of Newton, um, they wanted to see if light is like sound, waves, or is it particles? Does it go in a straight line? Does it go from one room to the other around the corner? They were thinking about these things. And one of those men, I think his name was Thomas Young, um, he studied 400 languages and said there is something like Indo-European languages. And, well, I am very enthusiastic about the alphabet, which is definitely Indo-European. And so, writing, and then you have Aristoteles, and he teaches Alexander the Great, and he founds an empire with the Hellenic culture, of course, of language, written books. And Alexandria in Egypt was his great library, magnificent library. Alexander the Great. Well, he didn't conquer Saudi Arabia, he died before he did. But the whole region, Petra, those magnificent temples, it's all that Hellenic culture. Expanded so much with language and philosophy about everything. But then, of course, so I even expanded it to north of India. That was a few weeks ago. But now, last week, I even imagined good and bad. Good and bad. I'm exploring the period of when we settled and we started agriculture. Well, I was reading Onion, and reading Onion, so you plant onion, but when you plant onion, did you ever see a chimpanzee planting onion? Well, I'm sure some squirrels will save some nuts for the winter in a hidden place. Maybe they even steal it from each other. But when you, in the bright sunlight, plant onions, how can you know nobody's going to steal your onions? So, kindness starts with agriculture. If you have agriculture, you need a certain kindness to be sure that your onions, which you planted, will be yours. Because what's the point in giving them water, weeding them, and doing all these things if, when you can eat them, they get stolen anyway? Well, I'm sure farmers still have problems with animals who steal, and well, since the 1950s, probably we put so much poison on the fields that the insects can't steal anymore. But humans don't steal from each other. Humans are kind to each other. And, well, that's something special, to be kind as a community to each other. And of course, the most magical of all, which you already find in the Bible, is the marriage, the love between a husband and a wife and a husband, and the children. Well, that's something magical. And even with their family, their parents, their brothers and sisters, that magical bond. Yeah, it's something very, very special. Well, a friend a few weeks ago told me that chimpanzees, they have sex with all the group. Well, it's not really defined as a marriage. But so, yeah, it is wonderful, the human being. And, well, um, so we talk, and we try to make an agreement to be nice to each other, not steal each other's onions. Maybe, well, if you get sick, I will water your onions because otherwise they might be destroyed. So you can help a friend. And, well, it's wonderful. It's really, really wonderful. All that goodness, and we call it God. We can call it whatever we want, but we really are good to each other. And of course, with the children too, they wanted to eat hot dog. Yeah, sure. And so the 2-year youngest sister, she wants as much parts of the sausage as her older brother, because they wanted to be treated like equals, but she eats less. And so they were splitting the hot dogs each time again, pieces for her, pieces for there. They count them themselves. We just serve it on a plate with this Corona and plastic forks, which we can throw away. And so after a while, the oldest boy could still eat hot dog, but the little sister was not following, and they had parts of hot dog in her plate which had not been eaten. And of course her grandmother, she started to say, because she also wanted to eat a little bit, but that it should not be thrown away. So, because yeah, from the past they know sometimes she just puts it all in the plate and doesn't eat it. But it's no point in arguing with the child. No, it was more easy to, well, she did eat it before, and then, but the last part, before she put it in her mouth, in her plate, they had to go home, and, well, I asked, can I eat it? Because I hadn't eaten any hot dog yet. And yeah, I could eat it. And so she agreed to that. And it was fine. But of course, the other part of that last hot dog, that went to the oldest boy, because yeah, he can eat more. And so, but I also got a part of the hot dog. But my mother, she started to preach about throwing away. And, well, I didn't. I just showed her, it's yours, and we will put it in your plate when you need it, when you want it. And, well, if you don't need it, you can give it to me, but you don't have to eat it as much as your brother, but it's yours. And so, yeah, she liked it. And, well, on the way back, well, we didn't see each other so much with all this Corona, and they started calling me uncle, but now they call me dad again. Wonder why. Yeah, they like me. But I am very bad in one thing. I'm good with children. I have no doubt about it. I understand them. And I don't want to seduce women, because yeah, it's not you want to do in serial. I mean, if I'm kind to one child, I can be kind to 100 childs. I see no problem. But if I'm good in seducing a woman, I see no point in seducing 100. So, well, most men would say, yeah, you have to try a few and maybe at the same time, but that's not me. Yeah, I'm concentrated, and, well, I know I'm very, very bad at it. I don't know anything to do. Yeah, I don't know. I simply don't know all the tricks, and probably they are obvious, but, well, I'm not familiar with the matter. But I do love, seriously. And I think that is very important. And well, I keep studying history and, well, making these videos. And again, it's almost 15 minutes. I have to close off. And well, I finally found a place to film.